what did you think of Sister Sledge?
Oh, I love them. I love all of them.
It's a sort of throwback
The
to,
record was all right, too.
if I may say, if I may say, to our era, the old Supremes and all that kind of
Yeah,
thing, Martha and the Vandellas.
It's what girl groups should be doing.
You're not...
Songs about boys.
You're keen on the new look for girl groups like Bananarama, and
Yeah. Yeah,
as long as they're girls.
I think it's interesting because in the last couple of years, I think the male-dominated rock industry has been under attack in a slightly different way, not just girl groups like Bananarama, but people that with real credibility musically in that they write their own stuff, they're strongly involved in performing it. I think people like Annie Lennox of the Eurythmics is a case in point. Bananarama are obviously a light-hearted bunch, but you know, there's a lot more women actually actively involved in music now.
Well, what do you feel about people like George Michael and Wham? He writes all his own stuff and they perform it. How do you feel about that?
I think he's a good writer. I think Wham are an interesting phenomenon. The idea that they've actually introduced hype into China is a bit far-fetched. I think China probably had hype 2,000 years ago. They invented it.
Along with printing, yes, in paper.
Yeah.
In your heyday with The Who, the kind of adulation that Wham are getting, you were getting, how did you handle that?
We weren't a teeny bopper group. The Small Faces were they were the kind of group. We had a big male following, about 80% male. And I think that's one of the reasons why we lasted such a long time. Because women are fickle. And girls are even more fickle if they're below the age of about 15. They tend to get into one group and then throw them off very, very quickly. When they turn against a new act, they turn against a new act with such venom. If you think about Duran Duran, some of the early Duran Duran fans, some of the things that I hear kids now saying about Simon Le Bon are just unprintable. And yet he was their hero last year. I just can't... What's happened to him? He hasn't grown a moustache?
Maybe the old-fashioned groupies were more loyal, that's what it was. What about the fame element? Did you feel that you were part of the mainstream of culture at that time when you were leading The Who?
Yeah. We felt that we were certainly... we were hoping to be in the mainstream of change. We hoped that we could affect society.
You took it that seriously?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think in a way that the only reason that we didn't affect society more greatly was because rock music was a bit of a fortress, you know.
Well, how were you going to affect society?
We were concerned to actually break the rules that we were living under. You remember that we were the first post-war generation. Very early in my life, I learnt that there was going to be no more war as my father and grandfather had known it, no more going out to the trenches, no more coming back a hero, no more women waiting for me at home, mothers and lovers, that rule book had gone. And we had to find new ways of finding success, of, if you like, finding heroism. And rock became the vehicle.
Where did the drugs come into that scene?
I think music has always had its drug culture, you know, right from the 20s. Bix Beiderbecke is I'm a great fan of his. Charlie Parker.
Could you not have taken a stand against, for instance, drug taking at that time?
I did. In '67, I took a strong stand against drug taking. I used smoked pot when I was at art school, and almost as soon as the band started, I got bored with it, and I felt cheated by it to some extent. I felt that a lot of the things that I'd attributed to drugs were nonsense, you know.
When did the heroin addiction start?
That happened much more recently. That happened as a result of a midlife crisis.
Steady. But would you take Esther's view that, and indeed apparently people are now coming late to the threat? The threat's been there for some time. One would have thought that people have become aware of the threat to young people long before now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of problems really with the fact that the campaign particularly against heroin at the moment, could be doing more harm than good. I know a lot of people are afraid that bringing heroin to the attention of the populace at large is not 100% good thing to do. But I do think it's important that everybody does know the threat that it holds in the future. I heard recently that that heroin use had stabilised, whatever that means, but it would destabilise very, very suddenly if the street price went back up to what it was 4 years ago. Heroin is cheap at the moment, and if it became expensive, as it was once, I think the crime that would follow, the crime wave that would follow, would be horrifying. Not just from pushers, but from people having to raise money to sustain their habit.
So we've got to try very hard.
I think that everybody should do their bit. I don't quite know what I should be doing at the moment. Maybe I should just shut up. But at the moment, I'm fundraising. I fundraise in a number of different areas. Some of them actually quite, what's the word? Some of them quite establishment level. I fundraise to help existing crisis centres and rehabilitation units, community groups, families, and individual addicts. And I do this not because necessarily of a feeling of guilt. It's not because I want to put something back. It's because I'm a father of teenagers. My wife's a teacher. We are involved with children all the time. I suppose rock music has made its money from young people. But it's just this sense that it could be contained if it wasn't allowed to get out.
But you're the great hope. You kick the habit, which not many people do.
A lot of people do kick the habit. It's staying off that's difficult. It's easy to cold turkey or to detoxify. There's a lot of different methods to get yourself straight. You need support. You need something to occupy you. You need hope. You need real support.
You have, are you making a despairing effort now to become respectable by getting into publishing?
I've always been.
After all the guitar breaking,
I've always been respectable.
You're trying to do something decent now. Why the publishing?
Well, I started publishing in '76 with my own small company, and I just love it. I think it's great.
Does it put you more in touch with people than you ever did when you were in rock?
Yes, it does. To repeat myself, I now feel that rock was a bit of a fortress in which revolution could happen, like the punk thing was a revolution, wasn't it? But what's interesting about publishing is that it has to have open doors to society and culture and things that are happening out in the world, and it has to be open. I have to read a lot. I have to watch your show.
I never do. I never do.
It's
over by the time I get home, so I don't have to look at it.
I have to read the papers. I have to know what's happening in the world. And so rather than being an idealist in a cardboard box of rock and roll, I can now actually try to... I think the great thing for me is working with other people, to actually working with other creative people and feeling that maybe I might be a cog in a big machine. But far from being respectable, sometimes I feel like I'm involved in quite nasty hype, you know.
Anyway, it's a pleasure to see you. Thank you for coming to join us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Pete. Pete Townshend.